Yes. Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Yes, we are in the 12th chapter. And here we already started it. I will go through it very briefly to just define it. This chapter is called Bhakti Yoga. And the name of this chapter defines the whole section in Gita of the 6 chapters, starting from the 7th to the 12th. This whole section is called Bhakti Yoga, and this chapter in particular. It's a crown of this bhakti movement of love towards the divine, which is considered to be essential, central for realization, for the innermost realization, in life and in the spirit, both. Yes, for the spirit to reach to the surface, to our natural way of living, to our bodies, to our physical, vital, and mental body, the bhakti is essential. Bhakti is that bridge. Bhakti is the love of the psychic, without which the spirit cannot come to our nature, to our activities, to our everyday life. So we will have to go into meditation. Without it, go to the church, to the temple, and there we will be somehow open to the divine. But the moment we come out from the church, temple, or meditation, we are again facing life, which is very different from the inner realization. So how to bridge the two? How to bring that spiritual presence into life? And there is only one way. That is love in the heart. There is no other way. Mind cannot do it. Philosophy cannot help. Service without love in the heart cannot help. It becomes a kind of, altruistic self-promotion of some kind. But real love, brotherhood, and Sri Buddha says about this brotherhood, is the problem which we lack. We lack this love for the divine in human beings, in our brothers. We do not see the presence of the divine in others. We see it only in ourselves, even then, only philosophically and egoistically. But to see it really, to feel that love towards your neighbor, towards your person who is nearby, not only your citizen, your relative, but also to unknown person. This we do not have, and that's why all the problems come. That's why the difference between the mind and the will is there. The mind and will are divided. They are not one. They are not united. What we will and what we think to achieve and what we know are two different things. And Sri Aurobindo says the major problem of humanity, of human psychology, is the difference between love and knowledge. Love is from the heart and knowledge is from the mind. So very knowledgeable person may be absolutely useless for the realization of the divine in nature. Because in his knowledge, he is open to it, but in his life, he is closed. So he is not bringing it into contact with his living reality around him. He is not establishing the divine consciousness here. And that is the capacity of the heart. That's why these Bhakti Yoga 6 chapters are put into the middle, in the middle of the text of the Gita. There are 6 chapters of Karma Yoga, 6 chapters of Bhakti Yoga, and 6 chapters of Jnana Yoga. So we are in the conclusive chapter of Bhakti Yoga. Arjuna Uvacha. That's why in this Bhakti Yoga we find Vibhuti Yoga, Vibhuti, all the manifestations of the divine in nature. That's why we have here Vishvarupa Darshanam. the vision of the universal divine, yeah, we see divine shows us how it is present, how he is present in the whole nature. Arjuna Uvacha Evam satata yukta ye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chap yaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamah. Who are those yogins among yogins are best? Those who worship you full of love, constantly united, or those who are following the avyakta, the unmanifest, and aksharam, indestructible. So unmanifest and imperishable. That if we can follow that, we can follow something which is unborn, the unborn spirit in us, seeking this realization of nirvana, or silent Brahman, or transcendental, which is not born here in this world. If I follow that, or I follow the path of love towards the divine, what is better? That's his question. Arjuna said, those devotees who thus, by a constant union, seek after thee, and those who seek after the unmanifest, illumined, must be immutable. Huh? Something is here, misprint. Which of these have the greater knowledge of yoga? Again, the same question which was made in Karma Yoga section. You remember this was the question between sannyasa and yoga. What is better, renunciation or the action? Here the same. What is better, renunciation or love for you, active love? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, and the blissful Lord said, Mayi aveshya, Maya veshya mano ye mam, Nitya yukta upasate, Shraddhaya parayopetah, Te me yukta matah. And those who entered into me, or who introduced rather into me manas, and are constantly connected to me, worshipping me, as it were, upasate, approaching me. Shraddhaya paraya upetah, charged with the supreme or the highest faith. Te me yukta tamamatah, they are the most, how to say, considered by me as the most, the greatest yogis. Yuktatama. So he chooses love for him rather than concentrating on the imperishable and unmanifest divine. Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate, and those who follow the invisible, imperishable, unmanifest, sarvatra gam achintyam cha, pervaded everywhere and unthinkable, kutastham, standing on the top or above the head, achalam adhruvam, achalam dhruvam, so immobile and steady, samniyamya indriyagramam, samniyam yendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha. Te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hiterataha. And having concentrated or having controlled all the indriyas, all the senses, and everywhere seeing in their mind only the same spirit, so becoming equal in their mind. They prapnuvanti mameva, they come to me, they realize me only. sarvabhuta hiterataha, being happy in the becoming of all the beings, in the happiness of all the beings being satisfied. So again, very similar answer to what we had in Karma Yoga section. The same question and a similar answer, that in any case, whatever path you follow, you will come to the Supreme, because the Supreme is the reality. And if you follow the path of immobile and imperishable and unmanifest, what you will do, you will just remove all the obstacles and you will see the presence of the Supreme behind. Yeah? So any path you choose will be okay, but there will be some but coming. Klesho dhikataras tesham. Klesho dhikataras tesham. Avyakta sakta chetasam. Avyakta hi gatir dukham deva. Sorry, dehavadbhir avapyate. So the difficulty is greater of those whose consciousness is concentrated upon the unmanifest. Because unmanifest, avyaktahi, indeed, gatih, the path to unmanifest, or the way to realize the unmanifest in their consciousness, dukham devadbhir avapyate, is realized by the souls with difficulty. There is a way of tapasya. You can suppress the nature and come to the spirit, but it is a difficult path. One can choose which way to go. Love for the divine is the easy path. You just love Krishna, and then you will have the path. But if you want to be severely focusing yourself on nirvana and reaching some unmanifest and imperishable spirit or state of consciousness, this will create a lot of difficulty in the nature. Well, it's quite obvious, yeah? It's much easier to love the divine. Yetu sarvani karmani mai samnyasya matparaha ananyena iva yogena mam dhyayantah upasate tesham aham samudharta mrityu sansara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So these two shlokas go together. But those who renounce all their activities, or they give up all their activities to me, follow only me, on to me concentrated, and not on anything else. Ananyena eva. Ananyena eva yogena, and not by any other yoga. Mam dhyayanta, thinking or meditating upon me. Upasate, approaching me. Tesham aham samudharta, I am the supporter of them. I'm the one who liberates them, who uplifts them. Mrityu sansara sagarat, from the ocean of samsara and death. I am the one who uplifts them or saves them. I am the savior for them. Bhavami, I become. Nachirat, not long. So not for long they have to wait until I become their uplifter and the savior. Of those whose consciousness is vested into me. So I will read what Sri Aurobindo writes. But those who giving up all their actions to me and wholly devoted to me, worship, meditating on me with an unswearing. What is that?
Swerve. Well, swerve is to
shake. Yeah, shake. With unswearing, it also means constantly. Yeah? Ananyenaiva yogena, with no other connection, but only by one. Those who fix on me all their consciousness, speedily I deliver them out of the sea of death-bound existence.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I was working on translation here, but I had difficulty with Maya Veshita Chesam.
Yes. Chetasam. Chetas is consciousness.
Yes.
Chetasam is Shashti Bahuvachanam, of those whose consciousness is aveshita, introduced from veshayati. From vishati is entering, veshayati introducing, veshita ppp, whose consciousness is introduced into me, mayi aveshita chetasam.
Okay.
This is aveshita chetas is bahuvrihi compound, which means whose consciousness is introduced.
Okay, so that's Mayi is into me.
Into me, yes. That is locative. Locatives singular from mat, me, I.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah. So Sanskrit is very precise, yes. If you see how beautifully it is, it's never vague in the meaning. Yeah? The meaning is so clearly determined. So in the morning we were discussing with my student. He was asking me, how come that there is no swimming word in Sanskrit? There are many words. You can have, for example, snati when you are bathing, yeah, when you are in the water for the sake of pleasure. But when you are swimming, you're crossing something. Yeah? It's like you're moving in the water. So swimming will be crossing either by the boat or by the hands, and that means the only body is in the water, and you're crossing the river, crossing the water. So he says, why crossing the water? Crossing, because you are traveling, you're moving in the water. If you're not moving, you are bathing. So this distinction between very precise, clear meaning everywhere. Swimming, it can be that you are for the sake of pleasure, or you go back and forth in the same, we got new ideas because of practicing and, how to say, approximately applying word, which got new meaning from practice. But linguistically, it's very vague meaning to swim. What does it mean to swim? It's to swim somewhere, or it is just to be in the same place in the water? In Sanskrit, it is distinguished. It's quite interesting. And many more things of this kind. They had really very precise, clearly defining what is happening. Here also, very clear, whose consciousness is vested into me. And then number 8. Mayeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshayas, again niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam nasamshayach. Mayi, into me, eva, indeed, manach adhatsva, having established the mind into me. Or literally established the mind into me, set it there, your mind. Mayi buddhim niveshaya, introduce your buddhi, your higher mind, into me. Nivasishyasi mayeva, thus you will live in me. Ata urdhvam nasanshayah, and from here you will rise or you will go up. There is no doubt about this. Ata urdhvam, and from here upward, and from here up you will be. So you will be out of this, yeah, from here. You will be freed from this lower movement of nature within you. Here we have imperatives, adhatsva, niveshaya, yeah? And in nivasishyatsi, you will live, future tense. Mai eva, I mean, in me indeed, ata urdhvam, and from here up, na samshayah, no doubt. Atha chittam. Atha chittam samadhatum, na shaknoshi mayi sthiram, abhyasa yogena tato, mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. And if thou art not able to keep the consciousness fixed steadily in me, then by the yoga of practice, abhyasa, seek after me, O Dhananjaya. Now he will be kind of coming from the top preference slowly to the lower and lower possibilities. So the next possibility, lower, not totally giving oneself to the divine and thinking only about the divine, but if you are not capable, what will happen then? Atha-chittam has to be written separately. And thus, if your consciousness, samadhatum, to establish, nashaknoshi, you cannot, mayi sthiram, in me steadily. Abhyasa yogena tatach, you by the abhyasa yoga, by repetition, by constant discipline and repetition, you maham ichhaptum dhananjaya. You can seek to realize realize me, O Dhananjaya. Ichha, you seek, you wish aptum, to attain, mam, me. Yeah, there are three words, became one, mam ichhaptum. Mam ichha, ichha means wish, the imperative, yeah? Seek, aptum, to achieve, me, or Dhananjaya. Now, there is a way of repetition. After a long time repeating the same discipline, the same remember and offer, you become kind of aware. You start remembering. Though it is mechanical at the beginning, though it is still imitating, it is still mimicking knowledge, still mimicking love. It is trying, and after some time it becomes a discipline and a modality of action, and you become more open to the divine, and it starts bringing all those elements which were in the first place, where he was mentioning constantly loving him, giving to him everything. You become that first place, or the first preference of the divine. So you will be uplifted to that preference through abhyasa, through repetition. We do not like repetition. We think that this is more religious. Yeah, you go to the church every time, you bring some incense sticks or some candles, and you put there, and you think that you did something. But repeating it creates some kind of connection or memory in nature, because within the nature there is a divine, yeah? And it will go through. You know this story which is very funny and very beautiful story in Panchatantra, which tells very good about this, about repetition, about mimicking, about religion, cult, which we don't like. We like the truth. We don't want mimicking the truth. Yeah? But by mimicking the truth, trying to find it without knowing, without being it, it can be also a way. So the story goes is very interesting. I will tell you because it's really funny. The most funny story I ever read in Panchatantra. Panchatantra is a book of fairy tales. So there was a prince. There was a king and he had a princess and she was very beautiful, of course. And the poor boy from the village was always looking at her there when she was coming out from the palace on the balcony and fell in love with her. And he said to his neighbor, who was an inventor, how can I really come close to her? And his neighbor said, okay, I will create for you a flying machine, like helicopter or something. And in the night, you dress yourself as if you are a god, Vishnu, and you fly to a balcony. And then you can have some kind of time with her. As a god, you have rights, you don't need to marry and so on. So he agreed, and that helicopter was created. And the boy flew up to her balcony and introduced himself as Vishnu. So, and they met every night. And then father started to be suspicious. And she had to tell her father that, I am meeting with Vishnu. So I'm given to Vishnu now and not to anybody else. So forget about my marriage. I am now Vishnu's wife. Father was very happy. Vishnu himself came to him. And so there was a kind of secrecy was going on, and he was visiting all the time. But then suddenly there was a war. And the neighboring prince or king came with war to this kingdom and surrounded the city. And his army was much greater than this of this king. So king came to his daughter and said, you see, you have Vishnu there coming to you every night. You have to tell him that it's time to protect our kingdom. So the boy came to his neighbor and said, what shall we do now? It's all your fault. What shall I do? And his neighbor says, so what can you do? You have to go and fight. There is no other way. Just go and fight with that army. So poor boy decided to fight, came with his helicopter and appeared in front of those armies, one-on-one. King said that we don't need army because Vishnu is on our side. Vishnu will destroy all these armies. So he came out, and suddenly Vishnu from heaven said, who is this boy who in my name now wants to fight this army? And they will kill him, and they will think that they killed Vishnu. And Vishnu entered his body and destroyed all the armies. And the boy came back as a victor and as Vishnu. Already he was a Vishnu because Vishnu embodied and came down to him. He became Avatara and officially married the princess. Now, this is an Indian story. You can't find such stories anywhere.
Well, they have an idiom right now in United States. They say, "Fake it until you make it."
Right, something like that. So this second part, abhyasena, by repeating, suddenly you just grow into it and you become it. Yeah? And the more possibilities are opening to you, and you are uplifted to the higher consciousness. So abhyase, number 10. Abhyase piya samarthosi mat karma paramo bhava. Madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. But if you are not again able, even for repetition, suppose you have no discipline, so if thou art unable even to seek by practice, then then be it thy supreme aim to do my work, karma yoga. Doing all actions for my sake, thou shalt attain perfection. So you see, this is another level, even lower level. If you cannot be disciplined in your consciousness and remember and offer constantly, then you should do it through karma yoga, through doing work dedicating to me. Mat karma paramo bhava. Be the one who dedicates his work for me. Madarthamapi karmani, for my sake do the works. Kurvan karmani, doing the works. Siddhim avapsyasi, you will achieve or realize the perfection or realization. You will get to this realization. Quite interesting, but it is all within this nature. Notice, second stage also, abhyasa. Abhyasa is repetition in this body, in this time. It must be repeated. And then again, karma, doing karmani, all the works for the sake of the divine. Not directly remembering the divine, but dedicating the work to the divine. Saying, I'm doing this for you at the beginning. I am offering this food for you at the beginning. Then you eat, then you forget. But this offering at the beginning, this doing it as dedicating work or activities in life to the divine, is the lower stage of joining that path of yoga. So there's 3 stages. Athai tad apyashaktosi, even lower stage, kartum mad yogam ashritach, sarva karma phalatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. And even if that is not possible for you, but if even this constant remembering of me and lifting up of your works to me is felt beyond your power, suppose, which is kind of very good reminding me of myself, yeah? Even that is beyond your power. Then renounce all fruit of action with the self controlled. Yatatmavan. Yatatmavan, the one who controls oneself. Do kuru, therefore, tataha sarva karma phalatyagam. The tyaga, the renunciation of the fruit, phala, of sarva karma, of all the actions. So renounce the fruit of all the actions, controlling yourself. This would be the path. It's the 4th lower stage. So we can see the gradation of the yoga, starting from renunciation of the fruit. Then there is dedication of all the actions with constant remembrance to the divine. Then establishing within the divine one's own consciousness, one's own mind and buddhi, yeah? And repeating constantly this. And then finally loving the divine directly. Yeah? Loving and totally focusing oneself only on the divine and nothing else. So these are the stages which we will have to undergo in our sadhana, starting from renunciation of the fruits of actions and going up and up. Okay, number 12, 12, 12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phalatyagah tyagat shantih anantaram. Better indeed is knowledge than practice. Then knowledge meditation is better. Then meditation renunciation of the fruit of action. On renunciation follows peace. Shreyach, better indeed he. Jnanam, self-realization or knowledge. Abhyasat, from abhyasa. Jnanat, but from the knowledge. Dhyanam, the meditation or the fixation of consciousness on the subject, on the divine, is better. Vishishyate. Vishishyate is standing out, becomes more specific or outstanding. Dhyanat, and from dhyana, from this fixation, karma phalatyagah. The karma phalatyaga is, it seems, better than dhyana. So leaving or renouncing the fruit of action is more concrete and more effective than even dhyana, than even fixation of consciousness. There is some contradiction here. I would like to try to figure out, yes, because just now, before I said in opposite way, I said that the karma phalatyaga was the lowest. And then it goes higher, higher, and higher. And here he gives completely different reverse vision. Tyagat, and from the renunciation of the fruit of action, shantir anantaram. The peace is immediate. I do not know how to comment on it, truly speaking. This is a big puzzle, because it's totally obvious from previous that he gives the hierarchy. If you cannot do this, do this. If you cannot do this, do this. If it is too much difficult for you this, then you do this. And here what he says is quite the opposite. That actually renunciation of the fruits of action is much more effective. Maybe, you know what? Maybe because it is effective even for those who are not able to concentrate, who are not able to have constant contact with the divine. It is already effective even for those who are normal people, who do not have the capacity of consciousness. That's why the karma phalatyaga is much more effective for everyone. Can you imagine how much more it should be effective for those who can concentrate? It should have more effect, no? Because it is applicable to all, and even those who are not spiritual, it gives effect. So it must be that the effect would be much greater even for those who are spiritual beings. So in a way, maybe it's not a reverse. It's rather speaking about more effective way, that the most effective is actually karma phalatyaga, because it is definitely working best. Better than knowledge, better than abhyasa, than repetition, than discipline, better than self-realization knowledge, better than meditation. Can you imagine how far he goes? So it sounds like similar what Mother says about it. Very similar. She was also against all these meditations, too long meditations, which we all like to do, or some kind of knowledge which is not applicable to life, which we also find refugee in. Yeah, it's better to go into this knowledge, peace space and forget about life, trouble outside. Or we become very repetitory. Yeah, we become very ritualistic. Yeah, we every day morning we do this. Yeah, we put some flowers, make some puja, and then we know what to do in the evening. We how to do oblation, blah, 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 mantras. I did my mantras and go to sleep, and that's it. And nothing much is being done. And when I lived in Korea, most probably I was mentioning to you, this was the most interesting. I met people with whom I lived, and they were Christians, and they were going to church every Sunday, and I was going with them. They had food, some songs, nice, and everybody was bringing some money, giving to to the priest, and he was counting and saying all how much everybody gave, how dedicated they are to the Jesus, and so on. And then he was telling everybody that they have to listen to the Bible several times. The more times they go through the Bible, through the text, read through the text, the better it is for them, a merit, yeah, religious merit. And so my lady of the house, she didn't have time for all this listening and reading Bible. It's too big, the book, you know. So she was putting the tape into the tape recorder and putting it fast forward, like and she was listening through the whole Bible in 1 hour and a half. And she said, yeah, I heard all the Bible. Now I haven't read it. But she was seriously sitting for 1.5 hours there and listening to that. I thought, what was she doing? And I asked her, and then she explained to me. This is the repetition way. Yeah? You repeat. So, of course, knowledge should be better than that. And of course, meditation should be better than knowledge. But karma phala tyaga is more practical. You will have in action, in life, renounce this desire, because it is exactly the desire is being renounced. Yes, when you renounce the fruit of action, you do the action without the desire of the fruit. The desire is always fixed on the result. Notice. So when you don't have that, when you are psychologically free from the fruit of action, from the result, psychologically, doesn't mean that you don't do action. You do the action. You have the right for action, not for its fruit. So when you do the action without the psychological attachment to the result, you are much more effective for the spiritual path. And beyond this, only peace. Peace is much more effective. If you can come to that realization of peace by some other means, it would be more effective. So we found the way that it is the effectiveness grows when you come closer to the ordinary dealing, ordinary life. Yeah? And this device was suggested by Krishna. And you remember in Karma Yoga, this was the first step of liberation. Once you are psychologically free from the fruit of action, the second thing, what happens to you when you're psychologically free from the fruit? That means you could see things better. You can understand, you can see tracks and all those other devices and instruments which you usually don't use, because the desire is narrowing down your consciousness. You're fixed on the fruit, on the result, and you don't see many more instruments and possibilities in nature which can help to realize this result without you being fixed on it. It's a psychological freedom. It's not a renunciation of the action. It's a renunciation of the desire of the fruit of action. Then you can see many more possibilities in nature which could be used and much wiser to use, much better for the result, much better for all, actually. Because when you get your result with this narrow consciousness, you cut many things out. You hurt many things, many people, many creatures in this world when you are fixing yourself only on the achievement of one result. Here you can see that you can incorporate all forces, that everybody can benefit from this movement, not only you with your desire of result. Can you imagine how much you get from this freedom, from the fruit? You can see things. And this is the first step. And the second, he will say, would be the freedom from modality, from the preference of particular modality of action. So you are becoming, you see, here I have a preference. I like to do this only this way and not that way. That way I never liked. Now, but that way is required by nature. It is better for all by nature to do that way, and you can do only this way. So this freedom of the preference of how to do it has to be achieved second stage. And then you can choose any modality of action and achievement of this activity. Then you can see the third stage, that actually everything is done by nature, not by you. You are just witnessing how nature, the power of the divine, is manifesting here everything through you, by others, engaging you and others, putting them together, meeting them, diversing them, throwing them, killing them, bringing them back. It is she who is doing everything, because behind her there is the divine which is doing everything, and you can witness it. And this is the final stage of karma yoga. Yeah? So you could see the depth of his proposal here with this karma phala tyaga, the renunciation of the fruit of action. Mm. Gita is profound. Truly speaking, I always wonder, what a creation, this Gita. Such simple thing, but so deep going, so much offering. And somehow we cannot master this this sadhana. We should have mastered it already. We should have tried at least. The divine offers us such a device, and we listen to it. We like it. We like to think about it, especially myself. But when it comes to action, suddenly everything is forgotten or half remembered or not very clear what to do, because all other elements are coming up which are not conscious in me. Those unconscious elements are joining. They demand their place, their participation. They want to live again through me, and I allow them to live again through me unconsciously. And they block again all this perception, all this sadhana which is offered by the divine. And again, the same back and forth all my life. Yes, we can take these two shlokas more and stop here. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankarach samadukha sukhach kshami santushtach satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishyaha mayarpita mano buddhir yomad bhaktach same priyaha. Yoma Bhaktach Same Priya, who is my beloved, he is loved by me, he is dear to me, who loves me, whose buddhi and manas arpita, offered to me, or surrendered to me, whose mind and body are surrendered to me. Dridha nishchayah, whose decision is steady, who holds on to his own word, his own will, his own resolution. Who is not just making decision and then changing it every second. Yatatma, whose atma is controlled, held under control, whose self is composed. Satatam yogi, constantly yogi, santushtah, he is satisfied, totally satisfied with his poise of being, with his consciousness fixed upon the divine. And not the one who fixed his consciousness on the divine and then says, oh, so difficult. I'm losing so much of life. I have to do this all the time. It is so tough for me to follow the spiritual path. No, he is happy to follow, totally happy. Kshami, he is the one who is forgiving. Samadukha Sukha, whose attitude is the same, who has equality in good and bad, in suffering and happiness. He has equal attitude. Nirahamkara, who doesn't have this self-promotion of ahamkara, who doesn't say I all the time. Nirmamah, the one who doesn't say it's my all the time, who doesn't say it's my and it is I, doesn't use this I and my all the time. Adveshta, the one who is who has no hate, who doesn't hate. Adveshta literally, who doesn't have hate, who doesn't hate. Sarva Bhutanam, of all the beings, he has no liking or disliking. Maitra, always friendly. Karuna evacha, and always merciful or pitiful, feels pity for others. I started from below and came up. So it starts with the Adveshta, the one who has, let me read what Sri Aurobindo says. He who has no egoism, no I-ness or minus, who has friendship and pity for all beings, and hate for no living thing, has no hate, who has a tranquil equality to pleasure and pain, and is patient and forgiving, he who has a desireless content, the steadfast control of self, and the firm, unshakable will and resolution of the yogin, and the love and devotion which gives up the whole mind and reason to me, he is dear to me. Now, most probably this is the fullest definition of Sri Krishna, who is dear to him, with all possible qualities of the human being here. Yeah, freedom from mama and I, not hating anyone, being always friendly to everyone, feeling pity for everyone, being equal in suffering and happiness, forgiving always, satisfied, constantly united, composed, constantly controlled, fixed or steady in one's decisions, not fluctuating in decisions, whose mind and higher reason are surrendered to the divine and who loves the divine. He is dear to the divine. So Madbhakta is close to the last one. It's the crown who loves the divine. Great. This would be a good place to stop for today. If you have some questions or you want to share something, please.
Will, are we back to Monday next week, or is that a change?
I think if you want, we can keep this. If you want Monday, it's also okay. What do you want? What is better for you?
Myself, Monday is better, but I'm flexible on that.
And usually, how are you more for Monday? Is it we shifted it for 4 o'clock? Your microphone.
4 o'clock is okay.
Monday,
okay. Sure.
Okay, we continue on Monday.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. Okay, if you don't have anything, then I will close with a mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Okay, see you. Bye.